Well, I think we're ready to commence. So welcome everybody to What's Your Plan? And I just want to introduce Steve Lorberbaum. He's the owner of Assisting Hands Home Care, and he's going to tell you a little bit about Assisting Hands and why he started this business. And then we're going to introduce our guest, Kay Loughrey, and they're going to do a little question and answer. And then we'll have a chance for you all also to ask questions. So if I go off camera, it's because I'm trying to figure out some backdoor stuff with the admitting people, but otherwise we're good to go. Take it away, Steve.
Great. Thank you, Patricia. And so welcome all to this month's edition of What's Your Plan? So each month we try to pick an expert in the field of adults and aging and senior care and try to spotlight and get the great knowledge they have that we can then share with ourselves and our loved ones. So we do that because we think it's a great service to provide. What Assisting Hands does is our basic work is we provide aids in people's homes to reduce the stress on families by being there when they can't be. So our aids work all over Montgomery County, PG County, and Fairfax County, Virginia. And so our goal is to make a good match with people and also give people knowledge and information so that all the mistakes I learned when I was caring for both my parents, other people don't have to make because I can share with them the things we learned. So today we're really fortunate that we have Kay Loughrey who is here to speak with us. She really has many hats that she can put on and wear, but this hat is all about nutrition and diet. And so I want to welcome Kay. And Kay, just give us a little background on you, and then we'll start in on the questions.
Sure, absolutely. I am Kay Loughrey, and I'm the founder and CEO of Sweet Life Wellness that you see right there on your screen. And I am a licensed and registered dietitian, nutritionist, and a healthy eating coach. And I've helped people for 30 years with their health and their nutrition and physical activity.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear. So tell me there's so many different people that talk about nutrition. I mean, there's a gazillion different diets, there's online programs. So I realize big question, but what are your thoughts on how do people look to get healthy, change their lifestyle, lose weight as they get older?
That's a really interesting way to put it. And it's, that's what people can come, when they come to see me say, oh, I need to lose weight. I need to eat healthy. And what I'm saying now is that you don't have a weight and eating problem. You have an emotional problem that is leading to poor eating choices and extra weight.
Gotcha. So what about so for me, I love food. So I love to go to restaurants. And then when I go to restaurants, I overeat at the restaurants because I like the taste of the food. So what do you got for me? How do I stop or be more responsible with the way I make my choices?
Yeah, well, the first choice is what restaurant are you going to go to? And then there are a whole series of choices depending upon what goal you're trying to achieve. But let's face it, you could be eating 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 calories at a restaurant. You go to the Cheesecake Factory and you have like a piece of cheesecake that's 900 calories or maybe even 1,200 calories. So you could be coming away with 5,000 calories. So if you care about, you're trying to not, gain weight, that could be a real issue. So planning carefully where you're going to eat, first of all, and know what you're getting into. You're getting into a huge combination of sugar, fat, and salt and calories. And are you going to be binging, on a food and drink all weekend and feeling dull and bloated later? Really start with what's your goal? What is it you want to feel? If you want to just, hey, let's party and pull out all the stops and eat and drink as much as we can, then going to a restaurant is an easy way to do that. So I'll have to throw this back at you and say, Steve, well, what do you want to have happen there when you get to that
Gotcha.
restaurant?
Okay. So we'll turn it off of me for the moment because I don't want to
Okay.
answer that question.
I figured that.
So let's talk about seniors in our population. So what happens is people as they get older oftentimes become less active, and so oftentimes they have weight gain, which impacts their then mobility. So
Right.
any tips for folks on as they get older and transition from maybe a very active lifestyle to a less active lifestyle, how they think about changing their nutritional habits?
Yeah, that's really, really an interesting question because Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics did a study about that. When people get older, you hit the nail on the head. They say their metabolism has changed. Maybe it has a little bit, but it's basically they're much less active than they used to be. So what are you going to do? You either have to get more active, plan a day that with a lot more activities that would have come naturally later, or you're going to trim down the amount you eat. And you know what? Most people don't want to start eating less. That's not their favorite thing to do. So unless they're really determined, it needs to be a combination of changing your portion size, maybe kinds of food you eat, and then consciously being more active. And the problem is that eating is usually unconscious. We just graze, we just eat, we don't even think about it. So it needs to become something that's much more intentional.
Gotcha. Okay. There are a gazillion diets out there.
Mm-hmm.
Some are don't eat carbs. Some are eat carbs. Some are eat only animal protein. Some are don't eat any animal protein. Is there, any guidance that for basically responsible sort of middle-aged and upper people in terms of a balance in their nutrition? Because I can't imagine that any one of those is the right answer, because then everyone would just do that one thing. So what's the right answer?
Yeah, and I say that there's no diet. Dieting is kind of diet is a 4-letter word. And, most of the people see it as very temporary. Oh, I'm going to do this 21-day fix and then I'm going to be all, great. And so the idea is to get to a better eating pattern. And the number one eating pattern is the Mediterranean diet. If you're going to do something that's heart healthy and sustainable, and it's not like a quick fix type diet. And so it's much more, what Mediterranean people used to eat before they started, eating fast foods, shall we say. So that's number one. And there's a number two dietary pattern, which is called the DASH diet. And it's a dietary approach to, for hypertension and preventing and dealing with hypertension.
Gotcha. And so if somebody was going to want to come work with you, how do they do that? What's a trigger to make them say, hey, I need to call Kay? And then how do they get started with you?
So a lot of times it's total frustration. They're at the end of their rope. They've tried every single diet on the planet, which I did, by the way back when. And they have, one lady, the way she said it, when I first started dieting, I was 140 pounds. Now, 6 diets later, I'm 210 pounds. I only wish I could be where I started. So when people come to me, we have a little conversation about that. See if there's a way I can help them. And they're tired, they're frustrated, they have low energy. Many of them have diabetes. Most of the vast majority have high blood pressure. Almost everyone has elevated blood lipids, cholesterol and that kind of thing. So the key is, though, to find out how committed are you to doing something about it? kind of like, well, I could do it for a day. That's not going to be very meaningful. And some people just don't care. And those are not people that are going to be committed to getting their results. So it really does take somebody who's like, I'm determined and I'm going to do this. And if you're working with like a parent or you're a caregiver working with somebody else, it takes asking them, what do they want? Do they want help? Sure, everybody needs help, but if they don't want help, they're not going to listen. They're going to say, okay, tell me what to do, but I'm not listening. I'm not motivated. So it really does take a highly motivated person, or it's not going to work.
Gotcha. Well, and so Joe has an important question about donuts.
I was looking at that.
And so, I'm going to turn his question a little bit around and go, donuts. Should people eat them? Should they not eat them? Does it matter? Eating half of one, is that the way to go?
Yeah. So love that question. Thank you, Joe, for offering that. What I say is you can eat anything you want. It's just how much and how often. So if you've decided you have to have like a donut a week and you want to cut one in half and have one on Monday or half on Monday and half the next day, that's up to you. But the calories, when you eat half, does it allow the calories to drain out before that we eat them? Wouldn't that be nice? I love that idea, Joe. You can figure out how to make that work. Let us know, and we can probably make a fortune off of that, because everybody wants to have their cake and eat it too, right?
So, there are all these now programs out there, Noom and other things. Are they helpful to keep people on track, or are they just another fad thing that?
Yeah. Some people can do stuff by themselves, and some people just an app, or they're stressed, so they get calm, and now they use it every day, and they're so much calmer. I mean, there's people like that, the self-starters of the world that can do anything on their own. But many of us need a little help from somebody else. So if you are, self-initiator, planner to the nth degree, you can probably do it all by yourself. But after 5 or 6 tries, if it hasn't worked, you might need some help.
Gotcha. So any sort of suggestions on hydration and how to get people to drink more? Because one of the biggest problems, especially with seniors, is
Yes.
they have falls. And they have falls because they got dizzy, because they got dehydrated, because they didn't drink enough. Any tricks on how to get people that say, I don't like the taste of water, to drink more water?
Okay. So first of all, I think people way estimate how much they need. So first of all, is to know how much you need. And it's, for, let's say somebody like me in my 60s, it's like 10 and a half cups a day. So you need a lot more than we think. And everything counts except alcohol. That's a no, that doesn't count. It dehydrates it. It doesn't hydrate us. But if you don't like the taste of water, there are a lot of options out there now for flavored waters that are really low calorie. I mean, you can even do a little infuser. You can add some mint, add some raspberries, a little bit of cucumber water. I love the cucumber water. So, as Joe's asking here about iced tea, coffee, and soda, yes, those are still count. They still do hydrate. They may be a teeny bit dehydrating, but not like alcohol. Alcohol's in a whole different category. So people, and especially older adults we're less thirsty, and we don't even realize we need water. And a lot of times when we're hungry, we're actually just really thirsty. So, what I suggest is you say drink maybe, plan to drink 3 cups in the morning, 3 cups in the afternoon, 3 cups in the evening. Will get you most of the way on the hydration. Is that helpful?
Yes, no, I think that's very helpful. Are there any like absolutely red line foods that you just need to stay away from? That as you get older, they cause
Yeah.
inflammation or whatever, that you would recommend nobody should be eating them?
Yeah, the best diet course is anti-inflammatory. Lots of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, a lot of fish, all of that. But no, I take nothing off the table because I am a chocoholic. And if I have to live without my chocolate, I just go shoot me. I'm not willing to carry on. So if you have foods like that you dearly love, you feel like you have a daily minimum requirement or weekly or whatever, certainly put it in the mix. But you decide, be in control of how much you're going to have, what you're going to have, and choose what you absolutely love. Like salami might be one of those foods, right? Salami is nothing but fat and a lot of sodium. And I say though, okay, you can have a couple of pieces of salami and during the holiday season, but not have it every day, every week, even every month. So a lot of those high fat, highly saturated fat foods, pastries, processed meats, hot dogs, sausages, those are the really, really big problems. Prime rib, ribs are really popular in the summer, right? Oh my God. They are those should be like a once a season, once a summer kind of food because
Okay,
they're so caloric, so high in saturated fat. The opposite of the anti-inflammatory foods.
gotcha. Okay, so um, a lot's been written about sugar and tumor growth. So any thoughts on, is sugar really that bad for you? Are there sugar substitutes that are
Yeah.
better if you have a sweet tooth and you need a little
Yeah.
extra sweet?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's an excellent question. Yeah, sugar is bad. It's not good for us. And the studies show, especially the carbonated sweet drinks, the association with heart attacks. And it's I think it's all true. Of course, the science is continuing to accumulate, but that doesn't mean that we have to totally give it up. It means we need to trim it. An average American eats 150 pounds of sugar a year. Could you trim that back a little bit? Could you get to 50 pounds instead of 150 pounds? And what I say about artificial sweeteners, the most of them are, well, they're all cause insulin resistance from the research that I've looked at and I believe. But things that are naturally derived, like stevia or monk fruit, are okay. And honey is not better. Honey is much more caloric than regular sugar and some of the others, agave, etc. They're just adding fuel to the fire. So the idea is we are like sugar addicts in this country. If you go to Europe, you go to a bakery, you'll taste maybe a half of the sweetness, but yet you have other flavors that are so pronounced that are, I mean, their quality of their sweets is like 200 times better than what we've got here.
Gotcha. All right. So one other one, and then we'll turn to Joe's next question. Gut health. Again, there's a lot been written now about how gut health actually can impact dementia and the likelihood of getting dementia. So I know there are all these things that people can take, for gut health. Give us your thoughts on gut health and what can people do to improve it?
Well, you've just gotten onto my favorite topic in the whole wide world. So we could be here for a long time, but let me cut to the chase. Gut health is so instrumental because if you don't, what we need is to have fermentable fiber in our system, a significant amount of it to protect our gut health because we wipe out a whole layer in our epithelial gut tissue without the right kind of fiber. And then what happens is antigens come into our system and things like Crohn's disease, asthma, all kinds of things get into our bloodstream that can cause us terrible autoimmune diseases. And, I haven't looked at the dementia aspect of this, but I wouldn't be surprised. So fermentable fiber foods are the biggest thing that you can do. We need 25 to 35 grams of fiber a day, fruits, vegetables, whole grains. We could do a whole talk just on that, but look on Google, high fiber foods, that's a good place to start. Beans, legumes, black beans, garbanzo beans, cannellini beans, those are at the top of the fiber list.
What about things like kimchi and vinegars and other kind of foods that are fermented, pickles, sauerkrauts? Do they help?
Yeah, there's some stuff on that indicate potential help, but just keep in mind, is there a lot of sodium in those foods? If you have something, it's a huge amount of sodium, that could offset the benefit. So of course, vinegar doesn't have a lot of sodium, but I haven't seen evidence-based research that proves that vinegar does anything for us. So I wouldn't bet on it.
Gotcha. Okay. So Joe's got a question about, are there foods or drinks that, actually, help encourage swelling of the lower legs and feet that we should be staying away from?
Swelling of the lower legs and feet is often a sign of, a serious heart problem, heart failure, for example, and or maybe bloating, uncontrolled hypertension. So if that is something that you're experiencing, I would get right to the doctor. And it's not about the fluids unless you're told you need a fluid restricted diet for some specific reason. We need to be well hydrated, but heart health is number one, and congestive heart failure that's a big indicator for heart failure. So there's some serious issues if you're having swelling in the legs, and I would get right to the doctor.
Gotcha. And so Patricia's got a question about either grocery stores or online stores that you might favor in terms of, low sugar or whole foods or whole grain foods. Any recommendations on places you like in the area?
Yeah, I would say, well, of course, we love Wegmans, but I would say the Wegmans has been rated the #1 supermarket in the nation, but it's huge and it's got all kinds of potholes, landmines of high sugar, high fat, junk food, as all of them do. Whole Foods has got, palm oil and so much of its ingredients. I have to go, when I go in there, I am like on high alert that it's supposed to be healthy, but it maybe not. So that's a great question, Patricia. Even some of the organic markets, I think they're focusing more on bars and shakes and not so much on just real foods. As Michael Pollan said, eat real foods, mostly plants, not too much. So I would say label reading. If you can be ready to read some labels, bring your glasses before you choose, because it's a landmine out there of food products that are not real foods. So is that helpful, Patricia?
Any thoughts on vitamins and supplements? I mean, again, you read so much that, it's not worth taking them because they pass right out of your system. Other people say, yes, they are worth taking. What's your take on adding vitamins and supplements to your diet?
Yeah, I would say do it very carefully. We're wasting a lot of money, but a lot of the people who are seeing me, almost everyone I'm seeing is wanting to lose weight. So they may be on they may be on a somewhat liberal diet, but they may not be getting all of the micronutrients. And so that's something I'm monitoring. So oftentimes if you are in a weight loss plan and mode, I would say taking sort of a 1-a-day type, multivitamin and mineral. That's not a big horse pill, but and if your appetite's not what it used to be, that's really, really important. And a lot of people who, as they get older, they may be eating less and less and getting thinner and thinner, too thin. They may need something more than just that. I mean, they may need a meal replacements. And it's no joke, because people can wither away and get to less than 100 pounds and much less. And that's how people end up in a lot of times in their downward spiral. And it's very important, if you're a caregiver, to be watching your clients and seeing where, monitoring their weight and monitoring what they're eating to make sure that they don't become a failure to thrive, if you will, as a much older adult.
Gotcha. And so for people that maybe don't like to cook, or the seniors that, maybe they have a touch of dementia, they shouldn't be using a stove, they can use a microwave. Any recommendations for either cooks that can come into your home, or, there's a gazillion delivery programs now that'll deliver either food that's already prepared, or that you have to cook, but it's simple meals. Any recommendations on any of those that you found particularly helpful and healthy?
Yeah, I have one person and one company that I'd like to recommend you consider, Elder Nourish. I don't know if Kim Lipinski has been to your group, but that's the population she specializes in, making healthy meals for older adults. And she does help others. She'll do, for busy executives, for example, but that's her specialty. And she's looking at what special diet are they on. So either, her organization, or at least would talk to her and see if she has a competitor you like better, that's fine. But, and a lot of people on Wheels type program, because they're just not getting enough to eat. But if you have a special diet, and you have the means, it might be helpful to find somebody who's going to really give you a healthier version of the food.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so I'm mindful of the time, and while people have put questions in the chat box, if anybody's got a question and want to open it up, feel free to ask. I'm mindful of the time. We like to stick to the half-hour rule. Any other questions? All right. Well, again, Kay, thanks so much for helping us navigate the world of nutrition and get some do's and don'ts. So I really do appreciate you coming on with us today. And any final thoughts from you?
Sure. I do have a free gift that I can offer your folks, and that is something that I call a choice point activator. And it's to help people make better choices. And so I offer this, that people can sign up with me, and then what we'll do is a 20-minute call where I will walk people through that choice point activator, which is really a mirror of where they are now in terms of their health goals, their nutrition goals, what they want to accomplish. And I do have information I can either pass to you afterwards, or just give you my text number to. All you have to do is text me and say CPA and give me your email, and we'll set up an appointment for you.
Okay, well, why don't you give us that information right now, just so we have it?
Okay, so yeah, and I can put in the chat, I can put my cell number, but all you need to do is put the 240-687-1251 and put your first name and your email address, and we will get you an appointment set up and be happy to really mirror what's going on for you and help you figure out what you really need.
Great. All right. Well, again, Kay, thank you. Patricia, thanks for helping set this up as usual. And thank you all for attending this month's edition of What's Your Plan.
Thank
Enjoy the
you for
weekend.
the opportunity.
Sure.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye all.